There is a habit that quietly steals more dreams, opportunities, and success than almost any external obstacle ever could, and that habit is self-doubt. It does not arrive with a loud warning or announce itself as a danger. Instead, it slips into your mind through small moments of uncertainty, causing you to question your abilities, your decisions, and even your worth. Many people believe their biggest challenges come from circumstances, competition, or a lack of resources. But in reality, the greatest barrier is often the voice within that constantly asks, "What if I'm not good enough?" The tragedy of self-doubt is that it convinces capable people to hesitate when they should act, retreat when they should advance, and surrender when success may be just around the corner. Inspired by the timeless teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, we can understand that the subconscious mind responds to the thoughts we repeatedly accept as true. When a person continually entertains doubts, fears, and feelings of inadequacy, those thoughts begin to shape their reality. The mind starts looking for evidence to support those negative beliefs, creating a cycle that reinforces limitation and discouragement. Opportunities are missed not because they were unavailable, but because the individual lacked the confidence to pursue them. Relationships suffer because insecurity creates fear and hesitation. Goals remain unfulfilled because doubt weakens determination before meaningful action can even begin. The most dangerous aspect of self-doubt is that it often disguises itself as logic or caution. It persuades people that they are simply being realistic when, in fact, they are underestimating their potential. It encourages endless preparation without action, endless planning without commitment, and endless waiting for a perfect moment that never arrives. Meanwhile, life continues moving forward and valuable opportunities pass by unnoticed. Every successful person has experienced uncertainty at some point, but the difference is that they chose not to let doubt control their decisions. They understood that confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move forward despite fear. Dr. Joseph Murphy frequently emphasized the power of belief and the influence of thought on human experience. When you begin to believe in your capabilities, your subconscious mind works in harmony with that belief, helping you recognize possibilities instead of obstacles. This does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending difficulties do not exist. Rather, it means developing the conviction that you possess the ability to overcome those challenges. The moment you stop defining yourself by your fears and start defining yourself by your potential, a powerful transformation begins. Your perspective changes, your actions become more decisive, and your confidence grows stronger with every step forward. The habit of doubting yourself may have been with you for years, but it does not have to remain part of your future. Every great achievement begins when someone chooses belief over uncertainty and courage over hesitation. To overcome self-doubt, you must first understand where it comes from and why it has such a powerful influence over your life. Self-doubt is rarely born from a single experience. More often, it develops gradually through repeated disappointments, criticism, comparisons, and negative conditioning. A person may experience failure, hear discouraging words, or face rejection, and over time those moments begin to form limiting beliefs about who they are and what they can achieve. The problem is not the event itself, but the meaning attached to it. When someone fails at a task and concludes, "I am incapable," that belief can become deeply rooted in the subconscious mind. Inspired by the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, we learn that whatever is impressed upon the subconscious tends to express itself in our experiences. If a person repeatedly accepts thoughts of weakness, inadequacy, or fear, those thoughts become mental patterns that influence behavior and decision-making. The individual may not even realize how much these hidden beliefs are controlling daily actions. They hesitate before speaking up, avoid pursuing opportunities, delay important decisions, and settle for less than they truly desire. What makes this especially dangerous is that self-doubt often becomes so familiar that it feels normal. People begin to identify with it, believing that uncertainty is simply part of their personality. They say things like, "I've never been confident," or "I'm just not the type of person who succeeds." Yet these statements are not facts. They're beliefs that have been repeated so often they appear to be true. The encouraging reality is that beliefs can be changed. Just as negative thoughts can be planted and reinforced, empowering thoughts can also take root and grow stronger over time. Every time you choose to challenge a limiting belief, you weaken its hold on your mind. Every time you act despite uncertainty, you prove to yourself that fear does not have to control your future. Confidence is not built by waiting until you feel ready. Confidence is built by taking action, learning from experience, and discovering that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. Think about the people you admire most. They are not successful because they never experienced doubt. They are successful because they refuse to allow doubt to make their decisions for them. They learned to trust their abilities, even when results were uncertain. They continued moving forward one step at a time, and their confidence grew through action rather than wishful thinking. This same principle applies to every area of life. Whether your goal involves career success, financial improvement, personal growth, relationships, or achieving a lifelong dream, progress begins the moment you stop giving your doubts more authority than your potential. The subconscious mind responds to the dominant thoughts you entertain each day. When you consistently focus on possibility instead of limitation, strength instead of weakness, and faith instead of fear, you begin creating an inner environment that supports success. The journey away from self-doubt starts with a simple but powerful decision: choosing to believe that your future can be greater than your past. One of the most effective ways to break free from self-doubt is to recognize that your mind becomes stronger in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Every day, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are engaging in an ongoing conversation with yourself. The words you repeatedly think and the beliefs you continually reinforce become the foundation upon which your confidence or insecurity is built. If your inner dialogue is filled with criticism, fear, and limitation, your actions will naturally reflect those messages. However, if you begin replacing those thoughts with encouragement, possibility, and self-belief, you gradually create a new mental environment that supports growth and achievement. This principle was emphasized throughout the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, who explained that the subconscious mind accepts what is impressed upon it through repetition and conviction. The subconscious does not analyze whether a belief is helpful or harmful. It simply acts upon the ideas it receives most consistently. This is why many people unknowingly program themselves for failure by constantly dwelling on worst-case scenarios, past mistakes, and imagined limitations. They repeatedly tell themselves that success is difficult, that opportunities are scarce, or that other people are more talented than they are. Over time, these beliefs become mental instructions that influence behavior and shape outcomes. Yet the same process that creates self-doubt can also be used to create confidence. When you deliberately focus on constructive thoughts, your subconscious begins working with you rather than against you. Instead of expecting failure, you begin expecting progress. Instead of fearing rejection, you become willing to take healthy risks. Instead of seeing obstacles as proof that you should quit, you start viewing them as temporary challenges that can be overcome. This shift does not happen overnight, but every positive thought plants a seed that eventually produces results. Consider how many opportunities are lost each year because people talk themselves out of taking action. Someone has a business idea but never shares it because they doubt their abilities. Someone dreams of changing careers but remains stuck because they fear making a mistake. Someone wants to speak, create, lead, or contribute but remains silent because they believe others are more qualified. In many cases, the limitation is not a lack of talent or opportunity. The limitation is the belief that they cannot succeed. Imagine how different life could become if those same individuals chose to trust themselves enough to take the first step. Growth always begins with action, and action requires a degree of faith. You do not need absolute certainty before moving forward. In fact, certainty often arrives after action, not before it. Every achievement, no matter how great, starts with a decision to move beyond fear and embrace possibility. The more often you act in alignment with your goals, the more evidence you provide to your mind that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of success. Confidence is not a gift reserved for a select few. It is a skill developed through repeated acts of courage, persistence, and belief. When you consistently choose empowering thoughts over limiting ones, you begin transforming not only your mindset, but also the direction of your entire life.